Merhaba, my Madults. You are listening to M for Madults, the only show with M for Madults in its name. I would hope, or I might be in a lot of trouble. I am your host, Tristen. Across from me, yawning because I'm boring her severely, is my co-host, Sheri. And sleeping on a memory foam pillow over there, being a good cat, hopefully not annoying, he drew blood on me earlier, is Leo the cat. So, what we have here for you today is last episode, I said we're probably going to have a debate on how to define all-nighter. I decided a debate probably wasn't the best way to go about it since it's such a controversial topic as it is. So I think that we, together, instead of being at each other's throats this time, we would become one and work as a team. So we here on M for Adults are going to define what an all-nighter is once and for all, so that there's no confusion. 2, I have a new segment that I'd like to introduce. I figured since I don't necessarily have a bunch of experiences in my past except for that stuff with entertainment, and I know entertainment pretty well, I thought I'd introduce Tristan's Medium Moment, where I'd go over some good stuff I've watched / played in the last week. I had the idea while watching Korra today. Spoiler alert for that later. If you haven't watched Korra, please don't stop listening. I want you to listen, but don't get mad at me when it's spoiled ultimately. I hold no liability. Also, we're going to do a week in review after that. So let's get on to the definition of an all-nighter. I would like to put forth my definition right now to save myself from accusations of changing the story later. And the only thing that you can tell me I'm doing is refining my argument more. So I thought I'd lay it out right now and try not to change the argument more, as the hot versus cold debate was very, very, I had a lot of people getting mad at me because they said I don't argue well. And I didn't see it that way. But I'll change how I do things. So, my definition of an all-nighter. Last episode we were talking about how Sheri and I played Rocket League till 5 in the morning, and I considered that an all-nighter because I usually get up at 5 in the morning. So, how I consider an all-nighter is, let's say you go to work at 7 in the morning, you get up at 5, right? You go to bed at 10. We're working with that schedule. Go to bed at 10, wake up at 5, go to work at 7. An all-nighter to me would be that you stay up past 10 until 5, what your normal bedtime is, so about 24 hours in total. And then you can say you've done an all-nighter, and then you can go to bed after that. And you can go to sleep knowing that you have pulled an all-nighter. That is my definition of an all-nighter. Just staying up for 24 hours past your normal wake-up time, and then you're free to go to bed or whatever. Sheri has a different definition of all-nighter, which is, please explain.
So it'd start out by going and staying awake instead of going to sleep at your normal bedtime. And then after the time when you normally wake up, instead of going to sleep, you would just do what you would normally do on your regular day. Like if you were in college, you'd go to class, or if you were working, you'd go to work.
Yeah.
And then you go to sleep that night or whenever you go home.
Yeah.
So more than 24 hours.
The controversy here comes from Sheri wants to eliminate the sleep cycle entirely from a day. Whereas I think that if you just
Delay it.
Yeah, if you delay it, it's fine. That's where we stand. Okay, now Sheri and I pulled up some sources before this episode to justify our definitions of an all-nighter. Now, who would you like to go first, Sheri? Me or you?
You.
You want me to go first? Okay. I also found a WikiHow article on how to pull an all-nighter with a friend. I did not read it, but I would love to go over it with you guys today. So, on Urban Dictionary, all-nighter is defined as staying awake, usually with the aid of caffeine and cold showers, for over 24 hours. It's a feat performed by overworked students, but also by physicians, blah, 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 blah. An all-nighter is not simply staying up until the sun rises and then sleeping. Oh, shit.
You know what's funny is because that's the one that I pulled up, and I was really curious as to why you're using it for your definition just now. Because we didn't tell each other what our sources were.
Yeah. So, Sheri, if you scroll down a little bit and read that definition, that's something I feel like right now.
A simp.
Yeah, I feel like a simp. Someone who does way too much for a person they like.
That's funny.
Well, this was catastrophically a failure. So let me go.
So I win.
No. Let me go to my next definition. Everybody is going to win here, okay? Everybody is going to win. I just realized my gain might be a teensy bit high, so I'm going to turn that down. Everybody will win here. That's better. So an all-nighter is defined by yourdictionary.com is the definition of all-nighter refers to an evening where you don't ever go to bed, but instead you stay up until morning. Now that I read that, it sounds kind of... what are your definitions, Sheri? Please.
You already read them for me.
Those are yours?
The Urban Dictionary one was.
Okay. Let me preface this a little bit more. Do you have another definition? Do you have anything else other than Urban Dictionary?
No.
Okay.
Besides my own experience.
Well, here's the thing with that. I don't have experience with all-nighters. I've never pulled one. I've never studied for anything before in my entire life. So I've never felt like, excuse me, I had to pull an all-nighter, except a simp for you.
You weren't even simping, we were just playing.
Yeah. So, clearly I came into this battle, this war. Sheri came in with guns drawn and firing on all cylinders, and I came in nothing but my underwear.
You even took
and a giant target.
gun and realized it was mine and then gave it to me.
I know, it's like, you think you're going to shoot me? Let me shoot myself instead. So, I'm an absolute failure. I guess my definition of an all-nighter, I don't know. To me, I feel like it's an all-nighter if you just delay your sleep cycle and stay up till 24 hours. To me, that's just all-nighter, because I'm looking at it literally all night.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. If I were to play devil's advocate, which I will, since you are already defeated yourself.
Easy there. I have feelings.
Is that, like, if you go by the literal definition, like, all night, like, you stay up all night and then it's daytime, which is, you know, I don't know if you want to say whenever the sun rises or whatever and night is over, then you've been up all night.
Yeah.
But there's also multiple different
situations?
Definitions of words, situations. Yeah. So, like, even though the literal definition of all-nighter is all night, that might not be, like, what's conventionally, you know, like, if you say, you know, oh, you scared the pants off of me, like, literally, your pants would have to come off. But, like, we know that, not literally, that it just means, like, you're really scared, and that is also the correct definition.
Yeah.
So,
and another thing that I want to bring up is, what about those people that work overnight shifts, you know? Do they technically pull all-nighters all the time?
Right, yeah.
Whereas, where my definition would fit in universally, this definition that I have pulled from the internet for your argument really only kind of fits school all-nighters, you know, and that's kind of where I was going with mine, I suppose, is that, like, anybody can pull an all-nighter as long as you just stay up past the point where you're supposed to sleep to the point where you're supposed to wake up. That's just an all-nighter to me. I don't know, is an all-nighter in the dictionary, since is it not a slang term or something, or
I don't know.
That's maybe it's in the Oxford Dictionary, and if it is, then that's the definition we would go by. But
well, and like the other thing, like, you could say for people that work like the third shift that work at that night, like at night all the time, they wouldn't say like, oh, I keep pulling all-nighters, because they're still getting a regular sleep cycle.
Exactly, yeah. And that's where my definition would cover it, you know. So I think all in all, at the end of the day, everybody's going to have different definitions of all-nighters, where yours is considered much, much more like correct.
And you have more to be proud of.
What?
You stayed up for that much longer.
I guess. I mean, I know you used to say, "I'll sleep when I die," but you'll die earlier if you don't sleep. So
I can't wait.
Okay, yeah. Sure. Whereas my definition of all-nighter can encompass all walks of life, you know. So I
don't think that. I think that it works. The work argument of like third shift works against your argument, because they wouldn't say like, "Oh, I pulled an all-nighter."
No, but like everything I've seen is like, you stay up till the sun. Oh, wait a minute, am I? Okay. Well, then how would it fit with yours? How would it fit with your argument, the third shift?
They'd have to stay up and not go to sleep.
Oh, okay. So I guess
it's not necessarily at night.
The third shift isn't any sort of supporting for anybody, is it? Not
I think
really.
I think that is against you. Like, it would decredit yours a little bit, because you wouldn't say they were pulling all-nighters like all the time. They're just living like a normal life cycle.
Yeah, but I'm not saying, like, my whole thing doesn't involve the sun or anything. It's just your normal day, whereas you skip, or I mean not skip, but delay a cycle, and you stay up for 24 hours. You know, that's what my definition comes in. Like, because I'm assuming on their days off, they've already had their bodies trained to sleep at like weird times, so they'd get up at like 8 at night or whatever, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they would say they go to sleep at like 1 in the afternoon or something, and they get up at 8 at night. You know, and if they didn't sleep past that, but like on their day off they went to sleep at, say, 9 at night, then I would consider them to have pulled in a quote all-nighter, even though it's not really night. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my definition of it. I know it's not. Now that I'm thinking of it, night is literally in the word, and everything I'm saying is just stupid. But hey, you know, that's what it is. It wouldn't be an all-dayer. You know,
but in my definition, if it's more than 24 hours, then that covers a night at some point.
Yeah. So I think that I'll concede that your definition of all-nighter is probably better. That you stay up for 36 hours, you just eliminate a sleep cycle from a day, I guess. Whereas mine is open to have a new definition. A new word needs to be invented for delaying a sleep cycle to stay up till 24 hours. We need a new slang term to be added to Urban Dictionary.
Delay sleeper.
That's horrible. It is horrible. I'm sorry, Sheri. You know that I appreciate everything you say. And as cute as you are when you say that, wow, what a shit title. What a shit name. So, I'd like to take this next 10 seconds to try to think of a term for skipping, or not skipping. Why I keep saying skipping. Delaying a sleep cycle. I've already accepted it.
Yeah.
Delaying a sleep cycle to stay up for 24 hours. I'm going to have 10 seconds right now and go. I have nothing. I
can't think of anything except for delay sleeper.
Now delay sleeper is right in there. Spin cycle.
No.
I'm garbage at this. I need more time. So that was that. Whereas I demolished you in the hot versus cold, I commit Sudoku in this argument here.
Oh boy. We got a lot to cover.
What do you want to cover?
What Sudoku is.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying that for...
I know,
it's like the Roblox speak, you know, go commit, die. I am about to commit not breathing. I'm about to commit lack of oxygen to lungs. I love those memes. You know those memes? One of my favorites. So, take with that as you will, guys. If you want to try and coin a new term, please email me, workwiththemadults@gmail.com, for my definition of an all-nighter, which has been absolutely crushed and slaughtered, but we need something new. So, go ahead and email your ideas. Nobody emailed me their definition of an all-nighter, so I came in here with a smoking gun to my head already. So, thank you, nobody. That's fine. Whatever. I didn't expect to win this one anyway. I've never pulled an all-nighter except that one time. And even then it wasn't, I guess.
It was a delay sleeper.
Don't put that idea in my head, please. I already trash-talked it so much, and if it's really going to be a delay sleeper, it's going to suck so bad. I think it's
funny only because I also agree it's a terrible
It's so bad it's good. It's like the room of definitions. So... That was, this is going to be the worst episode ever. So now we're going to move on to, Sheri, give me, what should we do first? Media moment, or do you want to do the week in review first? What do you think will flow better?
What was the media moment?
It was just going to be me talking about shows and games I played. You think that'd be better for the end? Because I think that if we want to establish this as a you and me, we should definitely go over stuff that you and I can do. And if I want to take over at the end, then when we have the studio set up, you shouldn't just have to sit there and deal with it.
So we'll do the us stuff first.
Okay. I wrote it down in the opposite way, so you want to go against the notebook?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go against the notebook. I'm glad Sheri plays along, but when she plays along, she also doesn't play along at the same time. So I have all of that freedom to do whatever I want. You know, I made her laugh really hard earlier. I craned my back, and I was like, "You're crazy!" Before I ran to the bathroom, she was laughing a lot. There's another one we were recalling when we first started dating. She's like, "When's the day we first started dating?" And I was like, "May 30th." And she looked at me, and she was so proud, and she like put her hand on my shoulder, and then I was like, right on my back, I was like, "I'm pretty sure." So that was funny. I know nobody's going to laugh at this, but inside jokes are so fun.
Yeah. I'm having
fun. We have two big events. I wouldn't say big, but two events that happened within the last between the last recording and this recording. We had to delay this by a day. This is a Sunday. Where in the list of locations we were saying we were at? I wanted to refine it down to cities, but I lost it. San Antonio?
I think we already did.
Isn't that Texas?
Yeah. Let's do Minneapolis.
Where's Minneapolis?
I think it's Minnesota.
Okay. We just shouldn't give out where we really live, which is Minneapolis, Minnesota, though. weird tactic
Allegedly.
you're doing, but whatever. So two things happened. Number one, Sheri and I went to my parents' house to go swimming. Other than...
Well, the person went swimming.
Yeah, Sheri doesn't like to swim. She hates water. So I splashed her a couple times. Well, maybe not like torrential splash, but I waterbend right at her. I waterbended some droplets at her. Not enough to the point where she could justifiably get mad, but enough where she'd notice. You remember?
Yeah. You're trying to flirt.
I'm bad at flirting. I'm going to drink some water real quick. Sheri, do you have any particular moments you remember from that day while I sip some agua?
I remember just sitting in the sunshine and everybody else was in the shade. And you were in the pool. I was by myself.
Oh, yeah. I hate horseflies. Does anybody else hate horseflies?
I don't think anybody likes horseflies.
I hate them. What do they do other than annoy the crap out of you?
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
I think that's pretty much it.
The only real notable thing that I wanted to share was I need a little backstory first. When I was growing up, my mom and dad loved to put me in front of the TV with Blue's Clues on. And we had all the merchandise. I still have a handy dandy notebook up in my cupboard. I don't have any of the crayons though. I really want the crayons and all the colors and all the stripes. I even have PNGs of the color splotches or whatever for if I want to make my own wax coating for the crayon, wax paper for the crayon. I have all the colors splotched out or whatever. But anyway, even today I can still sing every song from heart, like most people that watched Blue's Clues. Big fan of Steve, again, like most people. But I wouldn't say it was... What was that? Did you hear me croak?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Guys, I don't really know what my body's doing to me. I'm so confused.
Struggling.
Anyway, I'm particularly fond of Blue's Clues. I love the imagery of stuff. Even this morning, Sheri found an image of a really female-looking Blue on top of Steve. And it was like, oh, she was doing the sexy stuff. She was, I didn't even go over the WikiHow of the all-nighter. I just realized I didn't do that.
It's too late.
Whatever, I don't care. Maybe another day. Maybe another day. So she found this photo of Blue.
I was not looking for it. I accidentally.
Yeah, she stumbled across
randomly.
It was like this really busty Blue, and she's like a missionary on top of Steve or whatever. No, that's not missionary, is it? What's the one with the girls on top? Cowgirl. Yeah, she was like cowgirl on top. Everything was like safe for work, quote unquote. Steve was fully clothed.
Yeah.
And Sheri's like, look at this picture, and I like zero in. I'm like, the crayon's drawn wrong.
No, it's funny because you're like, yeah, that picture really bothers me because the crayon's not right.
Yeah, the crayon was wrong.
Oh, that's the issue with this picture.
The crayon was wrong. It made me so mad because it was... Steve's signature crayon is black and it has two colors on the paper stripe. This matches his shirt, right? But in the picture, it was just a solid green crayon with no wax wrapping on it. Like so my eyes were drawn to it immediately. I was like, that crayon is not drawn right. And I was mad. Everything else in that picture just didn't exist to me at the moment. I was just like, that crayon is wrong. I hate it.
Which is like, in its own way, it's kind of wholesome. Because you overlooked it not because, like, anything, like, you're used to, like, those images or something like that, but more because, like, you care about the crayon. So and nothing else mattered.
Yes. So as I have mentioned, I am very fond of the imagery. The paw print, the handy-dandy notebook, the crayon, all that
iconic.
Stuff. Yes, all the icons and all that stuff. I love the art style, and it's obviously very, very nostalgic to me since I grew up with it. So Sheri and I beat my parents to their house. We walked in. We let the dogs out. They clawed me to shreds. They shredded me apart. I have a scar.
You always let them.
Yes, well, Rourke is really fat and he has sharp claws, so it's hard to get him off because he likes to clutch to you. He's like one of those little urchin things that stick to your clothes. You know what they're called?
The plant seeds that stick to you?
Yeah, whatever they're called.
Burrs.
Yeah, burr. I think it's a burr, yeah. He's like one of those. So we beat my mom and dad, and then my brother arrives with his girlfriend, again, beating mom and dad, and then mom and dad show up, and they have groceries, so, oh yeah, we'll help them pull them in. So we pull up the first load, Lucas grabs the second load, and I turn around to grab the third load, and I see Dad with a huge blue bag, and right on top of it was Blue, like a big plushie of Blue, the puppy from Blue's Clues. And Farrell isn't even going to begin to describe how I went to go see that plushie, because I saw him and I'm like, is that for me? Is that for me? Is that for me? So I run down the stairs and yank the plush off the bag or whatever, and Dad's like, whoa, 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 stop. I'm just like, I start getting carnal about it. I'm like, it's mine.
Well, he was like, this is a gift for Sheri.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you think, I'm an idiot? No, it's not. It's for me. He's like, well, which one do you want? I'm like, I can't both. Because he had a smaller one underneath. I'm like, I was going to take the huge one. Are you kidding me? So I took the huge one. Dad was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, Mom and I were all, oh yeah, we're going to pretend that we're going to give it to Sheri. And Mom's like, he's not going to believe it. And she was right. I didn't believe it. I just thought that was funny. That the second I saw the plush of Blue, my eyes glazed over, and I was like, give me the blush. I scared Leo.
Aww.
Yeah, he's dumb. He's a dumb cat. Other than that, nothing really exciting happened. I did.
The homemade ice cream was really good, though.
Oh yeah, my mom did
I'm
make homemade ice
obsessed
cream.
now.
Now that you brought that up, here's another moment that I thought was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh.
I get into a character when I'm around my parents, and my mom gave me homemade ice cream. I was like really playing spoiled child that day.
Oh my gosh.
I was playing spoiled child, and I go sit down and I recline on the chair, and I'm like eating the ice cream like I'm an otter, and I get it all over my beard and my shirt, and I'm like, Mom, come clean this off me. And she grabs a paper towel and cleans it off, and Sherry's over there. She's her eyes are rolling so far in the back of her head, she's going blind. And Dad looks over, she's like, "You're welcome for that."
And I was like, "Yeah, this doesn't fly at home."
Like I, it was obviously a character or whatever,
Yeah.
but even playing as the character was humiliating for me. She's shaking her head right now, but I'm just like, I'm gonna push the limits right now, and I did, and I was like, that was embarrassing because I would never unironically have my mom come over and clean ice cream off my face. There's just no way I would ever let that fly, you know. So that was funny. Thank you for reminding me of that. I need to.
I wanted homemade ice cream.
I need to write stuff down. Like, I forget all this good shit that happens, and I come to do a podcast thinking I'm going to tell stories about it, but I can't remember anything.
That's okay. We work together.
So yeah, so that was Mom and Dad's house. Any final thoughts on that, Sherry, while I take a sip of water?
No, I'm hungry.
Okay, well, I really expected you to say something. So give me your thoughts on Mom wiping the ice cream off my finger.
No, just no.
How am I supposed to drink this if you won't help me out?
It was a nice visit. Nice to see some real life people out of quarantine and stuff. And
Thank you. I will relieve you of your duty now. So yesterday, Sherry asked me if I wanted to go hiking. So the morning starts off, I'm bolted out of a dead sleep. Sherry slaps me on the back of the head. She's like, "Hey, want to go hiking?" I was like, "What? Want to go hiking?" I was like, "When?" "Now." "When?"
okay,
"Now."
wait, you didn't even
When?
preface this because
Now.
I had asked you
By the way,
like Thursday and Friday.
be careful not to say the name here
Yes.
in Minneapolis.
I had asked previously, hey, I want to take Leo on a real hike. I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
No, we have not talked about the kitty backpack. I keep
And
thinking
the kitty
to bring
leash
it up.
and the kitty
so
harness. Okay, so
it's a good time to bring it up. So take it away, Sherry. I'll drink some water.
Leo is my little crazy orange kitty that loves food and loves to sniff the outside. He's also a very brave, adventurous, loving cat with people. Like strangers will come over, and a lot of people know typical cats will kind of run away or hide, or at the very least, like be very, very skittish around them. Leo will go right up to you as soon as you get in the front door and start asking for pets and start meowing at you. So
I think
he
that's
wants
still
to be best friends.
Yeah, it's all a ploy to get food, and I know it.
Probably in the end.
Your mom ruined him with the ham and turkey.
and turkey. Well, he just is not afraid of people for whatever reason. At least in the house, he's very adventurous and stuff. And even like the first time that I got him, when he was brought over here, like the cat carrier was opened and he was just out and like walking around and exploring like right away, which is, you know, not typical for cats. And he loves, like, if I open a window or a door, like he hears it and he runs right over and he starts sniffing, and he's so obsessed with what's outside. So anyways, I figured he was a good candidate for being trained. Well, I do clicker training with him anyways, and so I've taught him a few tricks. Like, he can fist bump, and he knows how to sit and stay, and he, like, lays down. He kind of, like, crouches down, but he knows how to do it. And I figured it would be fun to try to teach him to be, like, an adventure cat or a cat explorer. And got him a harness, got him a leash. Took a while to train him. Like, cats take a while to get used. It's like training a puppy. Puppies don't like, you know, being trained, and they're all crazy and wild at first. So it's the same thing if you're training an adult cat that was never trained as a kitten. But he's definitely taken to it, and I take him out in the cat backpack. He's hooked in there, and he knows how to sit and look around. And then if we're, you know, kind of off the beaten path a little bit away from traffic and stuff, he knows how to walk on a leash.
Sheri, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but look at him. He's cuddling his back leg right now.
I can't see because
I'll take a picture. You keep the story
okay.
going. I'll take a picture.
So, anyways, because of this, he's gotten really, really comfortable at walking around the neighborhood and being like semi around people. And I wanted like all of this training was kind of leading up to wanting to be able to take him on actual like hikes and stuff, and maybe even like someday like trips or whatever. But I love the idea of being able to take him on like a hike and having him walk around on a leash and stuff, and being outdoors, and because he's an indoor only cat unless he's out on the leash. So this last week he did really, really well in the backpack, and he did really well on the leash even in the part of the neighborhood that we don't usually go in. So I figured time to take him to a park nearby and see how he does. And so I asked Tristen if he also wanted to go. And this was earlier than Saturday morning. And I told Tristen...
yeah, I mean, I didn't think the timing was very important, but yes,
it is because you're sleeping in late. And the reason why...
Okay, yes, I did. All right.
I wanted to specifically go early because of two reasons. One being there'd be less people, so it would be less stressful for Leo. And two, because...
Challenger approaching.
It wouldn't be as warm out. Mostly for Tristan's sake, I guess he gets overheated. So I was thinking of both of my boys. Anyways, so I had already asked Tristan and told him, like, do you want to go hiking? I said, I don't mind just taking Leo by myself, but if you want to go with us, then it'd be really cool. And I really like the park that we were going to. And I said, so it's up to you. And Tristan was like, well, if you want to go, I'll go. And I was like, okay. And that was all talked over before Saturday morning.
Here he is.
And here he is.
He knows he's being talked about. So, yes, my day Saturday started off with Sheri absolutely beating the crap out of me in the morning to get me up. And she's like, want to go? And I was like, when? Now? When? Now? Stop putting your face on the popper. Pop filter. So we get up and we go hiking. I didn't take a shower. Huge mistake. I feel so gross when I take a shower.
Well, he asked me, and I was like, well, I'm not going to because we're going out for a little hike, and it's going to be warm, and... I would rather just get dirty and then take one shower afterwards. So I said, just do it after. But that did not work for Tristan.
No, I feel so gross and miserable whenever I don't take a shower. I don't know about you, but when I get greasy or I don't take a shower, I feel like I have this layer of like slimy dust around me, and it makes me so mad. I'm just like, I feel gross in my hair, whatever's left of my hair. I know, he's all squished in between my thigh and my arm. At least he's not biting the pop filter, so that's that.
He looks very happy.
So we get up to go hiking, and it was really just like a flat thing around a lake.
Yeah.
So Sheri brings the kitty backpack with Leo in it. Isn't that right? She brings it, I'm sorry, the cat's distracting me now. So how often do you see people with a cat in their backpack? Not very often at all. So, of course, everybody we walk by, we were celebrities at the time.
It was probably like a 1 out of every 3 people that walked by like said something.
Yep.
Not even necessarily to us, but I could hear them afterwards as they're walking or running by, like, oh, did you see that cat?
Yep. Yeah, I love that group of old ladies. They were like, did you see the kitty in the backpack? And they were like, oh, yes! Oh, my God, yes!
And Leo, of course, like, well, the backpack is this little home away from home. The weird thing is, like, when we're out walking, he's very, very scared of strangers, but he's fine in the house. But I think at this point, he's learned, like, the backpack is also, like, a safe haven.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's in there, he's relatively brave, and he knows, like, he's fine. But, like, when he's out on the leash, like, he's a lot more apprehensive. But anyway, so in the backpack, he was fine with people kind of being around and stuff.
Yeah, and they were, everybody was like, we were super popular
it was so
there.
funny.
And
it was
I'm just
so
like,
cute.
Anytime somebody walked by, I even felt like, I'm like,
I think they're gonna say something.
Well, that, and also, they don't even know that they're talking to the Madults right now. But then we come up to this lady taking a picture, and we look up, and there's this owl up there.
Yeah, because she's, like, standing on the side of the trail, like, looking almost straight up, and I was like, well, she's got to be taking a picture of something important to be.
Yeah. So we look up, we stand around, taking pictures of the owl, and Well, the first thing that happens is the owl shits, and nobody took a picture of it, and I was really sad.
I didn't even see.
And I felt like an asshole to this lady because she's like, "Oh yeah, it's really really small talk." And the first thing I say was after the owl shits. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe we didn't get that on camera."
And I was like messing around with Leo or something, and I wasn't looking at the owl, and I hear Tristen say that, and I didn't see what happened, but I knew what had happened because
I felt like,
of what you said.
But I felt like the poo took so long to hit the ground. It was almost like it was tethered in the air against gravity or something. It was like
Maybe it's just like a really long strand.
Oh my god, it was so long. It was probably the length of my forearm. So that was the first thing I said to this lady. I didn't really talk much after that because I'm like, I'm just gonna dig myself in a bigger hole.
Well, and we saw the owl, and then I kind of turned, like we were kind of trying to move past her. I mean, like keeping in mind that we're still trying to social distance and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of small chatting with her, and then she finally notices, because Leo in his backpack, like he's usually sitting and looking out the back part of it. Like the front flap is like the opposite direction I'm facing. So if I'm looking at someone, they can't see him most of the time. And then she finally notices him. She's like, "Oh my goodness, there's a kitty. I didn't even..." She's like, "I love cats." And she's like looking at him, and she's doing the thing where like people put their hands on their knees and get close to him, and she's like so excited. And
I find it funny that she noticed she was a cat afterward, because the next thing I was going to bring up was that the owl and Leo locked eyes.
Yep.
And Leo's doing his little chatter for the birds. Are you seriously looking for food right now? Are you seriously? Do I got to freaking body check you? Get out of there.
But yeah, like he'll usually poke his head out far enough that he can see around, because he can't get out of the backpack, but he like will sit facing the back, and then he'll put his shoulders like out the front flap of the backpack, and so he can get his head all the way around, and he can usually see where I'm looking if he gets out far enough. And so he finally turns and he sees the owl, and he's just like laser beam locked on.
Yeah, and he's chatting, he's like,
yeah, he's doing his little whispering.
I thought that the owl was going to take him apart, or take him away.
Either. Eventually both.
I mean, technically. So I was like, for the next while, I was making sure I was playing bodyguard.
Yeah, because we went on and Tristen was bodyguarding.
Yeah, and for the past 36 hours, every now and again, I'll hear Sheri play the video she caught of the owl screaming at a dog that walked by.
Yeah, because we were standing there talking to that lady, and then the owl didn't do anything to Leo. It was kind of looking at all of us, but a couple with a dog started coming up, and they saw the owl. And then
it was a big dog too.
Yeah, it wasn't a tiny dog. It wasn't like a puppy. It was a like pretty medium-sized dog. And the owl saw it and started screaming at it. And the dog at first didn't even know what was going on, but everybody was like, "Oh, like okay." And the original photographer was like, "Yeah, I normally tell people like if I see him, keep an eye on your little dogs, because those owls will snatch them right up and fly away with them."
Yeah. And then we walked for like another 5 minutes, and Sheri's like, "Okay, let's get him out on the leash and let him walk around." So they sit him on the bench. First thing that happens, I'm gonna just do it in a timeline right now. Yeah. Okay. I want to make this story as entertaining as possible. So the second she sets the backpack down, I hear deep in the forest, it's just like really, really far in the forest. I'm like,
what was that?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell was that? And she's like, "Oh, it's probably somebody throwing up." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe throwing up a demon or something." So I didn't really hear anything past that, so it went out of mind. What happened next was this group of 4 or whatever comes by, and they have 2 dogs.
Oh my gosh!
One of them was being held by a leash. The other was the leash was just dragging on the ground.
Yep, off leash.
And I'm like, "Asshole!
Yeah,
control your dog."
Yeah, because I was trying to wait for when I didn't think there were a lot of people around us, but I was not gonna have him. He wouldn't do well even without dogs around. I didn't want people to be around when I put him on the ground, like on his leash, because he would just get scared. And then to see that lady walk by with not only 2 dogs, but one of them was completely off leash, like.
Assholes, seriously.
Yeah, it's scary.
And I love dogs. I love cats. I love all animals, but I am not afraid to knee a dog or kick a dog or whatever to get it away from my
if it's
animal. Yeah, if it's going after my animal or whatever. So then they walk toward the owl, and I lean over to Sheri. I'm like, "Looks like the owl's got its next meal lined up," because the dog wasn't on the leash. I was like, Oh boy, I was really expecting to hear like really, really frantic yelping or whatever later, but looks like they wised up and grabbed their dog. But
Hopefully.
so after that, I had forgotten that original scary scream, and all of a sudden I keep hearing, "Ugh." And I'm gonna, let me try to simulate this for you guys. It kept getting closer. It was like, "Ugh. Ugh." And it was like. I was like looking up in the trees. I was like, I'm seeing branches sway because it's just slightly windy. I'm like, something huge is coming, Sheri. We need to go now. And it like rounds the corner. I'm just like, ugh, ugh. But it was just some guy and some lady. They were walking together, and the dude's obviously tuckered out, and he's like groaning and shit. And he walks by. They look at the cat. They look at Leo. They walk by, and I'm like just thinking to myself, I'm like, he doesn't know just how environmental he makes this park right now. He doesn't understand that.
He's gonna start rumors there's a Wendigo in the park.
And if I thought I was a little scared at first, imagine a kid just hearing
What?
in the forest, and then it just gets closer to you. I was like panicking. I'm like, something's coming to eat us. We gotta get out of here now.
Well, I think like there's probably a part of it playing into it where you're not used to living in the city of Minneapolis.
That is
and
true.
Because you've lived where there's not as much stuff going on. Like I just brushed it off, and I didn't even hear that noise as we were getting closer. When you said it the first time, I heard that noise, and I literally thought it was just someone throwing up, like, across the lake, and it probably got echoed and sounded really loud. Like, that was automatically what I thought, and then you're like, what do you think that was? And I was like, I don't know, it's probably someone throwing up. And I didn't even hear those noises as we were getting closer.
And here I'm thinking, I'm panicking.
And
like,
Tristen is like,
hell?
there is a mutant moose loose in this park, and we gotta get out of here.
And I'm just darting back and forth, my adrenaline's pumping. I'm like,
He's
I'm ready to
looking
go.
for exits.
I'm ready to fight or flight. I'm like, this path doesn't have the mutant coming, and this path does, but this path is where the owl is. And Sheri's just like,
back to the car.
Oh, and Sheri's like, oh, Leo, you go when you feel like it. And
Oh,
she's just
Leo,
petting the
you're
cat.
gonna be okay.
She's over here. She's like, oh, she's all bubbles and rainbows, and I'm over here, death and hell and mutant moose. So
I really was. It was just like, oh, I don't think he wants to get down on the ground yet. I'll put him back in the backpack.
and I'm sweating, I'm freaking out. I'm like, I should have brought a knife. I should have brought something. But so that was funny. In retrospect, it was funny, but I'll forever know that my piss is all over the park because
You've forever left pieces of
my dirty
yourself.
pants are there.
Leo's left his fur, you've left your piss.
And we continue walking to the park, and we take a seat right next to this area that slopes down, and it has a sign, do not wade in the water.
Yeah, and there's rocks down there.
Yep.
And kind of go out over the lake.
And guess what, guys? Here's a multiple choice question for you. Did people that walk past that sign that says no wading in the water, A, obey the sign, B, ignore the sign and go in the water because it's B. They ignored it and they went in the water. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? And this guy walked by, and he's like, he has this beautiful yellow lab, right? He walks down there, throws a stick in the water, looks back at us and smiles. Like, look at what my lab can do. I'm like, you're not supposed to go in the water.
Well, it was funny too because I was watching the dog, and the dog didn't even really care. Like a lot of dogs love water, and they will run and jump in it like first sight. And the dog like kind of was more apprehensive. Like it kind of tried to figure a way to get the stick without touching the water, and like the guy kept throwing it like further to try to get it to go in the water, and it did not really want to go.
Imagine your dog being able to read signs better than you.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude,
Good boy.
why does everybody do this? It's like, and funny. The funny thing is that there are many other slopes that go into the water, and not a single person goes to any of those slopes.
Those
it's just the
ones don't
one
have the
with the
signs.
sign that says "Do not wade in the water." The only one, and everybody hit it up.
Yeah.
The whole time there.
Yep.
And it was like,
And I also had Leo off out of the backpack at that point. He was on the ground, and the dog was running around off leash. The guy was trying to get her to go in the water, and
I just couldn't imagine. I'm just like, they see this sign and they get personally offended. It's like, I want to wade in the water now.
right.
Let me go in the water.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, but everywhere else where the slopes are, nobody goes in the water. It's like, come on, what is wrong with you people?
And here's the other thing too. There's literally a beach on the other part of this park where there's lifeguards. Like it's known that hey, people are gonna go in the water, and they're supposed to. Like we want people to have fun and go in the water on the beach and enjoy it. Like there's literally a designated area, like steps away
Yeah.
from this area that says "Do not wade here," and people will instead walk down and wade in that area.
It's so dumb. It's like those freaking anti-maskers that are like, my body, my choice, blah blah blah, and it's like,
I was like, okay,
no.
well, you want to destroy, like, you know,
Yeah, let's get
the Great
everybody
Barrier
sick.
Reef is dying and stuff.
I
Because,
just can't. They just don't like being told what to do, so
Yeah.
they purposely go against it.
yeah, like, yeah.
Only where the sign is, though, you know, only where the sign is, because everywhere else that they go, nobody cares about the water, but it's
Yeah.
just a sign.
You should really just put like a sign about sharks or something. I don't know, or something that like.
How about acid? Because the water looks acid. It looks like acid. It's beautiful, but it looks like acid.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not typical, but it's pretty.
if I ever went swimming in there, I'd just go belly up immediately, you know, because it's just like I can't see the bottom, so I'll die. You know, who knows what's lurking
I'll
under
just
there.
die.
Who knows what that it looks like? Freaking Hawaiian Punch. The whole lake does. So that was our
was
moment.
fun, though.
Oh, but most of the walk was shaded, and the second we got back out in the sun, I started roasting. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god.
Well, that was
let's
the
get in
end too.
car.
Like it was later in the day, and the sun was out, and there were people. Did you see that dude sunbathing? That was like set up for sunbathing. Like he had gotten there.
I totally forgot about the
He
70s
was-
sex god.
Oh yeah, that guy too.
When
There's
we
a
were
runner.
finishing up
There's
our
a lot of runners
yes,
in this park, and
yes.
so at the end, near the end of our walk,
Near the end of our walk, we see this guy that has like a deep V-neck with a collar. It looks like an Astro suit. Have you ever seen Despicable Me?
yeah.
He looks like the enemy from Despicable
Oh,
Me
yeah.
with the white and orange. But
With
I
the-
was like,
the Vector.
yeah, that's it. And I lean over to Sherry. I'm like, Sherry, that guy looks like a sex god from the 70s. Like, look at him. And he had like curly chest hair and everything. And he was super tan. I was like,
Well, this is another
he's
guy that I
trying
just
to look
ignored.
like who's the lifeguard from the SpongeBob movie? That's what he's trying to look like. David Hasselhoff.
Oh,
That's who it is. He's trying to look like him. but yeah, that was a little funny.
see, and that's the other. I don't even pay. I barely noticed that guy running by us just because I was paying.
How
him
could
to
you
run.
not? It was so like latexy. The suit he was wearing.
I don't know. I think Well, it kind of reminded me of like what cyclers wear, and I've seen a lot of people riding their bikes and stuff lately, and it's just.
Nice.
You-
Well, suppose we can cut that out.
Okay.
I'll try at least.
Yeah.
There's no space between.
But yeah, so it's I don't know.
I
It's just
don't-
another thing
see,
that I
I-
think I'm used to seeing in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I don't
And-
come from the. I don't come from the city. I come from a more rural area. Kravushnas
Yeah,
from Russia. I don't know.
pretty out there. Yeah,
I don't know.
pretty
I don't.
rural.
Obviously, I don't come from Russia, but where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of people. You never really saw anybody out on the streets. And when I moved over here, it was like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of freaking people walking around, and I hate everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I hate them all. So, yeah, that's gonna cost us a lot, by the way. If I have to bring it up, well, actually, that segues nicely into show goals. I want to do this before the media moment. I think one of the plans I'm going to have early on for season 2 is I want to revisit some of the stuff I talked about to either further clarify, like the vanilla of pizza. I want to further clarify with a Google search you guys can see. The blue reality, maybe. I don't know. We'll revisit that if I need to. It won't be like full episodes or whatever, but just something to fix. Season 2 is shaping up to be a good time, good fun time. I have the studio not all set up, but we're getting there. We just got to give somebody this mattress. Yeah,
If anybody wants a mattress or a bed frame.
yeah. I guess I don't really have anything else. I don't want to share too much because I want to keep some of the stuff a surprise, you know. So let's just move on to this new segment, Tristan's media moment. Leo's in play mode right now. Tristan's media moment, where since I do like to play games a lot and watch a lot of TV, I thought that I'd talk about what I've been up to recently. For TV, Sherry and I are watching through Avatar: The Legend of Korra. Now, this is where the spoilers come in. So if you listen past this and you haven't seen Korra,
Well, first of all, you should have watched it by now.
well, how accessible is it at this current moment, you know?
It's been out for long enough.
I guess. So,
But spoilers ahead.
yeah, don't get mad at me or sue me. So in book 4, when everybody dies, I'm just kidding, nobody dies. Not that I know of, at least. I'm not completely
We're not done yet.
I did just get past like episode 8, where it was like a recollection of everything, and I rolled my eyes. I'm like, oh god, another clip show episode.
Which I usually hate.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And one of the things I was like, I was telling Sherry when we first started Korra, when we got around to season 2.5 or season 3-ish, I brought up the point to her. I'm like, Sherry, Amon hasn't even been talked about at all. It's almost like season 1 didn't even happen. And she was telling me that they made season 1 the way it was to wrap up a story just in case they didn't get another one. Because how are you going to fill The Last Airbender shoes? You know, it was such a phenomenal show. And again, I'll say it again. Zuko is still one of the best and most well-written characters of anything I've ever seen, really. By the end of the series, I was like, I was really loving his character for real.
Yeah.
And when he said, why is it so hard to be good? I felt some anguish in there. I was like, I felt that stuff. I was like, oh my goodness.
He's got the most character development, for sure.
Yeah.
Very...
Everybody's all about Uncle Iroh. Well, he's nice, you know, but he's also consistent. You know, he's a good guy throughout the whole series.
Yes. It's not as much like growth. Like, he's already...
Yeah, whereas Zuko, you learn and you evolve with him, which I totally appreciate.
Yes. And it's not even linear. Like, again, you should have definitely watched the Last Airbender by now. And that is on Netflix or whatever, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to assume everybody's watched it by now.
Shu hasn't. Some of my friends haven't.
Well, tell her to get off her ass and do it.
I did.
Okay.
I was like, what are you doing? Anyways.
Why are you wasting your life?
His... Zuko's growth isn't even linear. He goes back and forth, which is very realistic to like what, when humans are trying to get better, we tend to backslide and go back, and sometimes sometimes people can't change, or sometimes it's more comfortable to go back to our old ways, and it's hard to break out and be a better or new person and stuff. But yeah. He's definitely got the character growth, and is like one of the more interesting characters. So.
Yeah, and I totally appreciate it. And with Korra, I'd say that the main difference between the two shows, and I've already talked to you, is their plots. Obviously, that's the biggest difference. But the Avatar: The Last Airbender has just the one enemy, really. The whole time through is a looming threat, the Fire Lord Ozai, right? Mm-hmm. Which got me stuck to the story all the whole way through. Like, season 1, the threat wasn't dealt with. Season 2, the threat wasn't dealt with. You have to get to season 3 for the threat to be dealt with. There's like an overarching villain that is coming. And whereas Korra, each season is a different story, Amon doesn't really get referenced again. Season 2 rolls around. They must have realized that they have a good show going. Because Korra's good.
Yeah.
Is it better than Avatar: The Last Airbender? I don't think so. Airbender is still a bit better, but not saying Korra isn't great. Where Korra might be a 9, Airbender is going to be a 10.
Yeah.
So each season tells a different story. But one of my favorite things about The Last Airbender was its overarching villain and all the miniature things to deal with on the road to that. Whereas Korra, and also Tenzin, why does he keep getting the shit beat out of him every step of the way? Leo, stop it. Sherry, help me out here.
You gotta grab his toy.
I can't. It's all the way over there.
Just ignore him. Get the cords out of his reach and then just ignore him.
I can't. This one is the power cord.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, that's good. We solved the issue of Fire Lord Leo. Sorry, we got technical difficulties here.
Hi, Leo. Okay, Uncle Boy. Okay, time to get evicted.
Pay your rent. Loser. Just kidding. Leo, you're cool. What was I saying? I'd be a waterbender. I guess I just don't really follow Korra as well through all these mini stories as much as I did the Airbender through the overarching thread. Is really what I'm getting at. Like, and I think they get a little, they joke around with it toward the end because they're like, oh, Aman, Unalaq, and also Zahir are all threats that Korra has fought, haha, or whatever. I don't know. But I'm just like, well, I think season 2 was still my favorite one out of all the whole series because season 1 rolls around. Aman was a joke of a Leo. All right, it's time for me to inflict poetic justice.
Okay.
I'll be back. Sheri, please take over for a second.
Okay. I did hear that Korra was not as up to par because the first season was written, I think Tristen said it was written to be like a standalone season, and I heard part of that was because they didn't think that Korra was going to be received well, and they weren't expecting to have to write other seasons, and they maybe didn't put as much into the characters or the plot and that kind of thing. So it's kind of hard. Like, I really want to love Korra because I'm all for having a female lead that's a hero that's very strong, and I liked that she's also, she's a person of color or whatever, but like the way that Avatar The Last Airbender was written is just so, so good. And when I had watched both of these series when I was a little bit younger, I loved both of them, and I was absolutely in love with Korra. And now watching it a few years later, like having, paying more attention to things like character development and the actual plot and how well written that the story was, The Last Airbender, like the show doesn't hold a light to The Last Airbender, and I think it's really disappointing. I'm trying to look it up because I'm not finding this as fact, so it might not be, but I had heard that the reason why they didn't think Korra was going to be received well and why they only planned for one season was because she was a female lead. They didn't think people were going to watch or like it. So it's kind of frustrating that it was, if that is true, which I can't confirm, but that it's self-defeating.
Yeah, that is
because it could have been so good. And not that, we're not lacking for awesome female characters in The Last Airbender either, because there's so many awesome characters that I love that are females there too. But it's kind of different to have her be the lead, to have Korra be the main character, and a show that could have been just as, like, I don't know, educational or inclusive and inspiring and just a really, really good story and, good entertainment as well. Like, it could have been The Last Airbender and even more, just failed because they didn't want to put the effort in, but
yeah, I mean, it's all speculation until whoever comes out to clarify stuff. But honestly, if they just called it Avatar: The Legend of Korra, Story of Bolin, it probably would have been better. Nah, I'm just joking around. Asami should have been. Asami's the best character.
Asami she's more interesting to me than Korra is.
Because she has money.
No. But she's definitely like a character that has like an interesting background. I don't want to speak bad about Korra, but sometimes she comes off as kind of like a spoiled, like, or maybe like innocent, like doesn't know better person. Like she just dives headfirst into everything, thinking that she knows how to solve things without thinking.
Yeah. And
you kind of see throughout, we're in the seasons now where she's like, well, I used to do that, and I used to make things a lot worse, so let me not do that.
Unless she does it anyway.
Right. Or she picks like the wrong thing. I mean, I know you need conflict for the show to be interesting, but like Asami is a character that had real challenges that she had to overcome. And what's funny about Korra is that it didn't seem like she had that growing up, except for the fact that like she felt like she was being controlled by everybody.
Yeah.
But Asami, like, her mother died when she was young, and then her father turns out to be like part of the villains, or like on the villain side and stuff, and she's still like, she doesn't take any of that to have pity for herself or anything like that. She just keeps going forward. And
that also brings up the twist villain, the surprise villain thing I was complaining about.
Oh, yeah.
Amon, oh no, it turns out he's the counselor's brother or whatever. Wow, what a shock. And then, oh no, Masami's dad is actually evil. Oh my goodness. Unalak, oh, you won't be bad, right? Unalak's bad! No! And then season
it's very
3 comes
predictable,
around,
yeah.
and it's like Zahir is like, oh, he becomes an airbending nomad. It's like, what are you doing in this room? I'm just like looking at stuff. Wait a minute. He's bad! Oh no!
Surprise!
I was just so sick of it. I'm sure there's more of it in there.
It's such a
like,
predictable formula, though.
I know. It's like, oh man, who's gonna be the twist villain here? Oh, the general? No! I was really waiting for General Iroh to come in, and he got the voice of Zuko and everything. He comes in, he's like, oh guys, I've been bad all along. Or whatever, I don't know. It's like the opposite of Zuko.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I think that Asami is a better character. It's not because she's sassy.
She's also sexy.
Thank you! I thought I was going to get in trouble for a second.
No, I can appreciate that.
I don't really think she's sassy.
Asami?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. She's
like beautiful.
Yeah, she's too stunning.
I like Korra. Like, I find like Korra's muscles and stuff to be like, it's more of like, that's what I would want to be.
Yeah, she's
like,
definitely,
I want to be strong.
She's a unique character, but I don't like her because of her hair.
Her season 1 and 2 hair.
I have
like
actually,
the weird ponytails,
yeah, no,
like
I
the
have.
3 ponytails.
I don't like ponytails very much. I'll be honest with you. I don't.
That's
and I've even complained. I'm like, look at her hair. And I haven't even gotten to the end of like Korra, and I'm just like, she's got bisexual muscles. And and honestly, if I get to the end of Korra and it turns out she starts dating a girl or whatever, I'm just like, I called it. Look at her muscles.
Well, it's funny, and I was pointing out because there's other characters that, like Chief Beifong, I think
She's also very.
she's got
ripped.
muscles, when she's not wearing her uniform and stuff. And but Tristan's like, no, those aren't bi muscles. I'm like, okay. Tristan's bi-dars going off.
I don't care, by the way, just for the record, I don't care. I love everybody. I also hate everybody equally, so.
I'm still trying to find
that.
this.
I think that it was just somebody that was frustrated, maybe.
I mean, I have found a couple things that say they thought it was only supposed to be one season, but not why.
It makes sense because Amon and the counselor like blew up in the ocean. I'm like, that is
like
a very
it's very like wrapped up.
ending,
Yeah, like everything wrapped up, and then that was, like you said, it's kind of been the theme for each season.
Is one enemy.
It's a mini story in its own, and that's why the series.
And again, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just. Last Airbender story.
When we watched it
better.
right next to it was very obvious to see the differences.
And I really appreciate shows that like they go in having an ending in mind, and those shows turn out great.
Oh, so but I just did find an article. This is from 2012, and it says Nickelodeon orders second season of The Legend of Korra. So it's like, it's official. Nickelodeon has picked up the second season of the series, because it says after averaging 3.8 million viewers for season 1, book 1, which concluded, they are ordering a second season order of more episodes and maybe a book 3 and 4. So it definitely was meant to be one season for whatever reason. We don't know for sure. But yeah. Anyways.
I think it was, it's always like, oh, well, it might not be well received or whatever, or it's like, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Rick and Morty, after their first season picked up, they renewed it for like 10 more. 10 more, or at least 100 episodes or something, one of the two. But, no, that's just, that was my take on Korra. I don't really watch a lot of TV. Watching through Scrubs again, though. A lot of stuff dated. Their phones, a lot of the jokes you wouldn't be able to get away with. So that was TV. For games, I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic, and the new game that just dropped was Grounded.
It's the pre-release of Grounded.
Yeah, which Grounded is pretty fun. It can be very, very punishing and I can only take it in small doses, mainly because it's pre-release and it's obviously very rough
There's
to the point where it's
so many glitches.
it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to enjoy, but it's hard to continuously have fun with all the problems it has. Whereas, like, there's so many spiders, and I finally learned the timing to be able to solo spiders. But at that point, it's not. It's borderline not very fun to continuously play. And Deep Rock Galactic is wicked fun. I find it very fun.
So, I mean, were you supposed to explain the premises of these two quick? Or?
No, because people will look them up. Like, Deep Rock Galactic is a mining thing. You're dwarves. You go down, you mine some nitra, some
rock
mortite.
and stone.
Yeah, rock and stone, brother.
Rock and stone forever.
Grounded, you're shrunk down, and
down.
and you have to survive in somebody's front/backyard.
So you have to craft your own crap and fight insects and stuff.
And it is also Grounded can be very, very unforgiving with its spawns and its amount of enemies there. Like, you could go up against 6 spiders at once, or some of the easier enemies like ants or larvae. You can just get overrun completely, and there's nothing you can do about it.
They just like swarm up to you, and it's like overwhelming, like literally overwhelming.
Yeah, and with all the latency issues on the Xbox and the frame drops, it's hard to fight them because you want a nice, consistent, fluid movement.
Yeah.
30 frames a second, 60 frames a second, 120 frames a second, don't matter. As long as it's consistent, you'll learn to play with it. But if you're playing at 60 and you drop down to 20 randomly in a fight, you lose your momentum and your ability to, respond with the rest of the flow of the game. It's like kayaking and there's a rock in the river that just pops up out of nowhere, and you're expected to recorrect everything to go back to the flow of the river.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if that analogy works, cool. If it doesn't, you know what I'm talking about anyway,
if you're
so shut up.
If you're trying to hit a baseball, but you're forced to blink really fast, and so it's really hard to see where the baseball.
I don't know, something, but you know what I'm getting at. And it has a lot of that, so it's really hard to get combat down in general. And going back to Deep Rock Galactic, there have been some funny things that have happened there, and way more fun with friends, by the way.
Yeah, it's still like got that indie game feel of like it's a little glitchy and there's like some unbalancing, but it's definitely a lot further along.
Absolutely, because that's out of pre-release.
Yeah,
you have been able to get it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The physics are still a little to be worked on, obviously, in Deep Rock Galactic,
things.
which I'm assuming is one of the hardest things to get down in games is the physics. Who jumps on a barrel and expects to get launched out into space, So, Deep Rock Galactic is fun. We just promoted once, so now we've opened up an additional part of the game to explore, which are deep dives. I don't know what those have entail, but we're gonna find out. It looks like
we're gonna be able to get stuff that's gonna give us more customizable stuff. So I'm excited for that because we haven't. That's been like the least things that we've gotten.
Well, you don't like any of the driller suits, so.
Well, none of the ones that I've unlocked so far. So maybe you gotta unlock some nice looking ones that are like actually fashionable.
You're trying to. You're attacking.
I don't know what's wrong with these dwarves.
You're attacking me. So I've also been playing Smash Bros. I love unlocking characters. One of my favorite things to do, considering nobody wants to play Smash Bros. With me, is unlock the characters over and over again. Like in Smash 64, I'll reset the character data sometimes and unlock the 4 characters. And in Melee, I'll reset the character data and unlock all those characters again. To me, that's like one of my most enjoyable things about Smash is unlocking the characters. And I have to say, I love the way Ultimate handled theirs, because it's like they have 70 or some odd characters, right? And it's when they were first revealing it, it was like you start out with 8 characters and you have to unlock everybody. I'm like, oh, mamma mia. That's the good stuff. And I can even show you, Sheri, that back when Smash Bros. Wii U was around, I was super disappointed that you only unlock like 1/11th of the roster. There was only like 8 unlockable characters out of the assortment of like 60 or whatever.
Actually, I can relate because I was excited for that for Mario Kart to unlock characters, and then you're like, you don't really unlock characters. You can unlock like wheels and stuff, and I was like,
well, Mario Kart is a different Like, I don't care about unlocking stuff in Mario Kart.
I know you don't, but I just mean, like, I understand the unlocking stuff part because...
Well, what do you mean you know you don't? I think this is the first time I've talked about it to you.
No, you've told me before that you're not... Like, I know that you love, like, Smash Bros, but, like, we never play Mario Kart or anything.
Oh.
I like playing Mario Kart, but...
I mean, I'd demolish you in Mario Kart any day. Usually any online match I play, I win.
Challenge accepted.
But, I can even show you, back in the Wii U days, I have this, I wrote up this idea of how to shrink the roster down to like 6 characters in Smash Bros. For Wii U, and I have all these different unlock conditions for every other character.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know, I thought it was fun. Like, I remember it was like Ganondorf was beat classic with every villain character in the roster, or like Palutena was beat classic with every hero on the roster. Stuff like that. I like those conditions. Ultimate doesn't have those conditions, but the way they handle their unlocks, I do appreciate. So every now and again, I'll create a new profile on the Switch, start from scratch, and just unlock those characters, you know? And the main reason why it's so satisfying to unlock those characters is because you beat classic and you have like all this cheery music going on. It's like, look at all the gold you got, look at all this, and all of a sudden, bam, a siren hits, everything else just stops, and just a silhouette of like black comes out. It's like, shit, something's coming. Something's coming. And to top it all off, you have to beat them in a fight to unlock them. You know, and that's the greatest part. To me, I mean, it's like you have to triumph this character, and the character's like, all right, I guess I'm with you now. You know, it's like, you showed me what you got. I am Luigi. I will come join you. Maybe Luigi wasn't the best one. It's like, I am Marth. I have sword. But whereas unlocking characters in like Mario Kart or whatever, it's like you complete this race. Oh, they give you the character, you know? I mean, it would be a little different if it was handled the same way, where like a silhouette pops up and it's like this racer is challenging you or something, and you have to beat them in a race to unlock them, you know? In Smash Bros, it's just that much more satisfying, I guess, is really what I'm getting at. I don't think there's any other game that I've ever loved unlocking characters in other than the Smash Bros. Series. Where, like, in other games, it's like, I just want to play as them, you know? And it's like, a lot of the times it's fulfill this condition, we'll just give it to you. Whereas Smash Bros. Is like, fulfill this condition, and maybe if you fight them, maybe you can win and beat and have them. You know, and that's just why I do it. I have fun with it, which is why in Ultimate I don't like going through the world of light to unlock the characters, because it is that same way where you travel through the map and you do beat them, but there's just something a little more personal about beating classic, and all of a sudden somebody just shows up and it's like, hey, fight me. You know. Anyway, that was Tristan's media moment. How'd you like that?
That was nice.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
How'd you guys out there like it? If you like it, I'll keep doing it, because I'm all about the media. I play games, I watch the TV. That's really all I do in my free time. So I'll talk about that all day. But that's all I have for this episode. Actually went a bit longer than I thought it was going to. Guess how long it's been?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Well, an hour and 12 minutes, so...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, why are you sorry? Don't be sad. I think instead of muting it, I'm just gonna put in a subtle censor beep for what you said, what you said earlier. I can't believe you would say that. Those are people out there, Sheri.
Oh, sorry.
Those are people out there.
I'm sorry.
Disgusting. And nobody's ever gonna know except you and me. Well, maybe that's not true, but I mean, given the context, it's gonna be pretty obvious what you did. How dare you? That's fine. I still like you. So, if we don't have anything, I don't have any goodbyes. I feel like that's just going to be my goodbye now. I kind of like it. I'm like picturing all this merch down in the future. One of the things...
I don't know what to say now.
Yeah. Like, well, I don't got any goodbyes. How do I say goodbye to you? But I thought it'd be kind of funny if you and I got like hats with a big orange M on it. Not like Mario, but... Oh, actually, maybe like Mario. I don't know.
Black, white, and orange.
Yeah, well, yeah, like black and orange or whatever. Just like have like a beanie or whatever with just like the tag has the orange M on it, and we'd wear it and have it face toward the camera so they know what they're watching. I don't know. I was just thinking of cool stuff to do. I still want to get like a 3D printout of the M. The M is going to be iconic. I'm telling you right now. That is a very powerful emblem that we made there. So, yeah. At this point, when the cameras come up after everything is done, like before the goodbyes, I am absolutely super willing to just go off on a tangent and continue the conversation. But without the visual aid, it's kind of hard to, because at this point we may say something. It's like, oh, let me look that up, and then we can like go down a rabbit hole with everybody. I'll show the screen, screen share. I'll show everybody. It's like, oh, what? Donuts were made this way, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Right now, that's near impossible. So I'm just gonna wrap it up. I'm sweating real hard.
I'm thirsty.
It's real hot. Yeah, Sheri's thirsty. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. So I don't have any goodbyes. So we'll see you later. Bye.